Good morning and good afternoon to everybody on the call. Thank you so much for joining our webinar today. I'm thrilled. We have an absolutely fantastic turnout on the call, and we are really excited to share more about our official launch of Shepherd Compliance. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So I want to quickly kick off today with a few introductions for the presenters on the call. My name is Laura Watts, and I lead customer experience here at Shepherd. And I am thrilled to be featuring on today's webinar our very own Maureen McIsaac, who leads product here at Shepherd. Maureen has spent the last 6 months heads down in building this tool, and I'm so excited she's joining us today. Maureen, would you mind giving just a quick introduction?
Absolutely. Thrilled to be here, Laura. So I lead product at Shepherd, which means I sit between our engineering and our insurance and underwriting team to develop solutions for our underwriters internally and also externally for our policyholders. And I'm excited to talk to you about Shepherd Compliance today because we're really just getting started.
All right, thank you. So for our agenda today, we are going to give a quick overview of Shepherd Compliance, and then we're going to dive in and actually do a live demo. And we'll close out today by sharing a bit more on how you can get started with the tool and some important next steps. Before we jump in, I want to recognize we have a ton of our broker partners on the call today. So thank you for being here. So as we go through the content, I want to highlight two things. We're going to show you today the tool and really how you can position the tool to your clients. And then if you are also involved in the process yourself with your clients, keep in mind that you'll be able to also utilize the tool as you consult with them on this process. So this is really meant to hit on both contractors and brokers, and we're excited to go ahead and dive in. So let's start off with a brief overview of the tool. Shepherd Compliance is a tool that helps with ensuring subcontractors and vendors are meeting your compliance standards by helping with the management of COIs and policy endorsements. A process that we know can be very time consuming, complicated, and at times overwhelming. So at a very high level, our platform provides automated COI review with endorsement detection that is powered by AI. And really, this is meant to help simplify the collection and review of all of these documents. Within the tool, we provide streamlined outreach directly with your subcontractors and vendors, all the way from initial collection of documents for immediate feedback on those documents, all the way through to the renewal requests. And we really want to help here with all the back and forth time we know that this process can take. And lastly, the tool is intended to be flexible and fit into the workflow that you might already have in place. So we are building and providing integrations with project management systems like Procore to help bring your projects over quickly and begin that review process as soon as possible. As we know, this can always be really crucial timing. And most of all, the product is entirely free for Shepherd policyholders, and it's available today for them to begin using. So policyholders who adopt the tool will also receive additional premium savings at their time of renewal with us. We believe that this tool has an impact on compliance that will have an impact on loss control and claims, and we want to recognize that as your insurer. So Maureen is going to take us into the product in a moment, but I want to take a quick step back and talk about why we've built this. As an underwriting company, we have a very unique perspective on the risks that our clients are taking on. So our mission is to provide tools that share knowledge on how to mitigate these risks. So the way we think about a customer journey here at Shepherd is providing an exceptional experience to our broker partners from the very beginning of their time with us throughout the underwriting process. Once a client becomes a policyholder, we will reach out to the broker team and work to set up a kickoff meeting so we can introduce ourselves and these services, including Shepherd compliance. We know that this might be a bit of a different process from a carrier, but we believe this is a super important step to begin sharing these resources and ultimately our mission of how we want to support both the contractor and our brokers. And then our belief is that the adoption of these tools will improve loss controls and ultimately reduce claims. That's why at the time of renewal with us, we will provide additional premium savings to recognize these efforts to invest in our tools. Shepherd Compliance is just the beginning of a suite of resources we plan to provide to help contractors not always feel like they're taking on the financial burden of addressing all the important needs across the business. All right, with all that being said, I'm going to hand it over to Maureen and we are going to jump into the product. So Maureen, can I pass it over to you?
Yeah, thanks so much, Laura, for that intro. All right, I'm going to navigate just to the Shepherd Compliance platform right now. Great. And if everyone can see my screen, what you're seeing right now is the Shepherd dashboard. So this is your landing page as a user when you come to the compliance platform. And what we'll go through in the demo today is what it's like to upload a certificate, see automatic limit comparison with your own requirements, see the automatic endorsement detection features. And lastly, we'll look at just an overall the reporting for renewals features. So right now, I'm going to go ahead and upload a document. So this would be a case where I have received a certificate from my insured, and I want to check if it meets my requirements. And you can see that there's a whole list of projects here that I can choose from when I'm uploading to a specific project. And all of these were imported from our Shepherd Procore instance. As Laura mentioned, we have integrations with top project management software. And so we're able to pull in all of these details about our normal operations with just the click of a button and no additional information input. So I'm going to navigate down here to my vendor, Highlander Beacon, and I can see that all of the requirements have already been pulled in from my requirements library for this vendor. And these I can set in our separate requirements library and adjust to any project or any vendor-specific requirements on limits or endorsements that might occur. Great. So I'm going to go ahead now and upload my certificate and endorsement package. Just the click of a button. And I'm going to click upload. And what's happening right now is our scanning technology is going in and looking at the contents of this document package, pulling out the certificate information, including limits, boxes that have been checked, policy numbers, effective dates, and comparing all of that information against my requirements for this vendor. So what happens next is I'll be taken to a comparison screen where I can see all of the information pulled out from this document on the left-hand side, and I'll see my uploaded document on the right-hand side. What I do now is I'm able to choose approval statuses for each of my comparison checks. And so I'm able to approve, mark something as pending, waived, approved exception, or rejected for any of the statuses. In this case, both the description of operations and the certificate holder look good to me. And so I'm just going to go ahead and click approve all. But what's really cool about our software is not only when things go right, is it easy to record, but also when things go wrong, our software will highlight that. So in this case, I actually can find out that my vendor doesn't meet my requirements for damage to rented premises. I have a requirement of minimum $300,000 of coverage, and this vendor is only providing $100,000 of coverage. Additionally, I'm finding out that their requirements, my requirement was for occurrence, but I'm getting like a claims made check instead. And so what I can do is either reject this coverage or I can approve an exception. And so in this case, I'm going to approve the exception because I have spoken to the vendor otherwise and want to go ahead and move them forward. And now I'm on the auto page comparing my limits, and I can see everything's looking good for auto. All of my requirements are being met. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that as approved too. As I move through all of my coverage comparisons, I eventually will get to my endorsements page, where our technology, our AI endorsement feature, has automatically detected where the endorsements are that I've required. So in this case, I have GL, additional insured premises operations, and completed operations, and I'm able to navigate easily to where those endorsements are located on the page. And after reviewing the endorsements, I'm going to mark those as approved as well. I can do the same thing for auto, navigate to where this endorsement has been located, and mark as approved. Great. So once I finish my review, I'm sent to a final summary page where any issues where this vendor's certificate has not met my requirements will be highlighted. And I'm able to navigate back to that page if required to review any of these exceptions. In this case, I've already approved the exception for general liability, so I'm happy to move forward.
Maureen, can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah, absolutely.
If you wanted to request feedback from the contractor on that missed requirement, would you be able to do so via the platform? And can you just quickly hit on that?
Yeah, absolutely. So if for any reason during my review process, I want to provide feedback to the vendor or make a change request, I'm able to just go into my request to the vendor, and there'll be a button here which will say request changes. Once I click that, I can indicate any review or status or any limits that haven't met the requirements. I can provide some commentary to the vendor and send an email to them directly requesting changes to their proof of insurance documents. So it's really just a couple of clicks. And the cool part about that is it's all recorded in a timeline where we can see the process. So any uploads, any commentary, any dialogue with the vendor. In this case, it's just one upload, so that's all it's showing here. Will all be saved as part of an audit trail.
Wonderful. And just quickly for our broker partners on the call, if they are involved in this process, potentially for their client or with their client, do they get visibility into those requests as well?
Yes, absolutely. And what I can also show you after I save this as current coverage is I can show you what it looks like when I want to renew any coverage and exactly how the broker gets notified. So just quickly, because I finished my review for Highlander Beacon, I can go now to their current coverage page where I can see all of the information that's been scraped from this cert. I can see any exceptions that have been made and my decision. And additionally, I can see the endorsements.
Awesome. One quick common question we get around the endorsements is, if I am a contractor and I do want to add a specific endorsement as part of the requirement process, can I add, maybe it's not a standard form, but something else, can I add that as part of the requirements that a subcontractor gets?
Yes, absolutely. And so we won't touch on the requirements library today, but in further calls, we can show you that general contractors are able to add any custom endorsements that they may require to any request to a vendor using their own language. So if there's any exceptions or kind of non-standard endorsements that are required, we're able to handle that very easily. And there's no change to the subcontractor journey for uploading.
Amazing. And before you navigate, I want to highlight something quickly on this screen. It looks like we are also scraping insurers and ratings. So is that information also being highlighted in the system here? And can you potentially export it if needed?
Yeah, absolutely. So we do store insurer names. We store all of the information from the certificate of insurance, and then we'll look up their AM Best financial rating, as we're aware that that is something that a lot of general contractors consider when looking at subcontractor compliance. So we will post all of the ratings here so that general contractors reviewing this can ensure that any ratings meet their requirements. And so, yes, you can see that there's a host of insurers here and then their rating as well. And that's because we look up their NAIC number and able to pull this information.
Awesome. So I want to stop here for just a moment. Really appreciate you running through that. I just want to ask a quick question. I know you've been spending a lot of time on this. This whole area is really complicated and there are so many use cases. So how confident do you feel that our platform can handle all the complexities of this process?
Yeah, it's a great question, something that we've thought a lot about. And really, the answer to that is we've spent hundreds of hours with our policyholders understanding their pain points and their own compliance processes. And because we've spent so much time with them, we're really confident that we've captured a huge number of edge cases and use cases for this compliance software, which means that it doesn't matter if you have coverage across multiple certs, or you're dealing with special case endorsements, or you have, an admin and a supervisor who would both like to use the platform, or you'd like to invite your broker. All of those use cases are really encouraged by this platform and its flexibility. And there's no additional cost. There's no cost for extra users. And so we're trying to make this platform extremely collaborative, for not only compliance admins, but for the whole insurance team and for their brokers, because we know that they're such a integral part to the review process.
Absolutely. Awesome. I love that. Thanks for sharing. I know we have one more awesome and new exciting thing to share, so I'll pass it over to you again.
Great. Thanks, Laura. Perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and navigate back to our dashboard page after that review is completed. And I'd like to highlight our renewal notification software at the bottom, which is scanning all of the vendors in this platform and looking at expiration dates in the past 30 or next 30 days to really surface that to compliance admins, and so that you can get ahead of any renewals that are needed. And so there's no need with Shepherd Compliance to kind of dig through which of your vendors need to be contacted. We bring all that information right to you. So I'm going to go ahead and just send a renewal notice to Citywide Plumbing for the Colonial Parkway project. And all I have to do is click renew right here. And I will ask the vendor to upload the certificate. If I have any changes to my requirements, I can go ahead and make them now, but these look good from last year. And what's really cool, Laura, as I mentioned earlier, is that we will store both contact information for subcontractors and also in a similar vein to us inviting brokers to collaborate on this platform. We will also, you can also store broker information for the subcontractor in case they are the ones completing this renewal request. So I've stored all of my contact information, don't need to remember it, don't need to add it. I can add any comments that, if needed for this vendor. For instance, please attach GL and ALCOI. Any specific requirements or notices can also go here. And what's really cool as well is I can attach a sample certificate or multiple sample certificates that I might have for this project, or any standard documentation that might go to this vendor or for this project. So that's it. With really just a few clicks, we've kind of made what is a really painful renewal process super seamless and easy, and takes just a moment. And then I can go ahead and click send. And these folks, the broker and the contact, will be notified, and they'll be given a secure upload page, a link to a secure upload page that they can go ahead and send their documents and get immediate feedback on them. And that's how you renew. It's super simple. As we went through this whole demo, really what used to take hours of manually reviewing COIs or searching for information in spreadsheets. Just takes a couple of moments with Shepherd Compliance because we're able to streamline that workflow and bring all of the relevant information to the general contractor.
Good stuff. Really excited about the renewal piece. I know that's been talked a lot about with a lot of the clients and brokers we've shown this to. So really excited to show that we are building quickly, taking in your feedback and continuing to make this platform more robust.
Absolutely. And we'll go back to the presentation.
Fantastic. So everything Maureen just took you through is really just the tip of the iceberg. This product has a ton of additional functionality, and we would obviously love to show you more. So if you are a broker partner on the call or a client, we'd love to share more with you. So we'll share information at the end of this call about how we can do that. So next, I want to talk about, how to get started with this tool. And first and foremost, this implementation and onboarding process is super easy. So the Shepherd team does provide dedicated implementation support to get the contractor up and running. And we also provide continued support for the tool after you're up and running. In terms of implementation, we have found that it takes about 3 calls or less to get a contractor into the tool and using it. So this means that a contractor can be on the platform within just a few weeks. And we are continuously building out functionality and releasing new features every single month. So our hope here is to continue to grow alongside our broker partners and clients as they use the tool to enhance their workflow. And I also want to quickly hit on a common question that we get, which is, what if a contractor's coverage ends with Shepherd at some time in the future? So if that is the case, we will support the contractor on the tool for 1 year, totally free of charge. So our plan is to not disrupt any workflow they have in place. If they want to continue using Shepherd Compliance, which is of course our hope, we'll provide the tool at a nominal cost. So again, they'll have access to the tool. We will not shut them off from the tool, and they'll always have access to any information in the tool. So we will be very flexible around that, and we definitely don't intend that to be any roadblock for anybody wanting to implement this solution. So that does conclude our presentation today, but obviously we would love to share more with you. So if you are interested in learning more about any of the tool capabilities, or if this could be a fit for you as a broker or one of our mutual clients, please reach out directly to me here. My email is on the screen, and would love to continue sharing more and working with you on this tool. So thank you so much to everybody who has joined us today. We do have a handful of questions in the Q&A. So Maureen and I will go ahead and tackle some of those now. If you have any more, please go ahead and drop them in the Q&A. And if we don't get to them live today, we will follow up and make sure we get an answer with you. So thank you so much again. We hope that this was helpful, and we look forward to chatting with you more about Shepherd Compliance.